Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Let's Talk Banter, episode 6. I'm Dale,
I'm Alec.
I'm Jacob.
and this week we have a special guest with us. Introduce yourself.
I'm Hannah.
And how do we know Hannah?
I'm Jacob's girlfriend. That's how you
Nice.
know me.
That's cute.
Nice, Jacob. Oh,
Dude.
that's me, dude. Hell yeah.
Congrats, dude. Alright. So, as per last week, we're going to start with Hannah. So go ahead.
Okay, so the topic that I wanted to bring to you guys is whether or not you think YouTube is more relevant than television.
Ooh,
Okay.
interesting.
So relevant in a way like YouTube being like in a monetary sense. So like since YouTube is free, is it more relevant than people paying for cable? Or is it people consume more media through YouTube than...
Both, but I was going more along the lines of that people consume more media through
Okay.
YouTube than they do through a television now.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I definitely consume more media through YouTube. But
Yeah.
Yes.
I watch way too much YouTube during the week. Like, if I had my hours logged of YouTube consumption throughout the week, it would probably be a really bad number that
An
I would not
embarrassing
want. Yeah, it
amount,
would be
yeah.
embarrassing. It would be. I just wouldn't want to look at it. That's all there is to it.
Maybe you could have a stat above your head.
Yeah, that's my stat above my head. That's throwback to episode
Something.
1? Was that on the first
Nah,
episode or 2?
2.
No.
Maybe 3.
2? That is 2. I think it was 2.
Anyway,
Yeah,
But-
beyond that garbage.
I haven't had cable for years.
Mm-mm.
Even when I lived at home, we didn't have cable probably since like middle school. Right about the dawn of Netflix, we stopped having cable.
Do you think I'm gonna throw out a second thing? Out of all sources of media like YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, cable, do we think that YouTube's the most relevant right now? Do we think it is getting the most currently?
I think probably because it's not just in the U.S. It's global.
True.
It's hard to say though because some people still are concerned about the television shows that they would watch through cable, and they can see those on
true.
Netflix and on Hulu, and they can't really see those on YouTube.
That's very
on
true.
YouTube. It's just
Well,
creator-based content. Yeah, you can possibly see it illegally.
Well, and pirated.
yeah,
yeah.
but it's mostly creator-based content.
That's
It's
true.
Not like
Yeah.
television.
So is creator-based content better in some cases than media, like just big media content?
I think it all depends. I think that there's definitely a connection that people make with a YouTuber that people do not get from television. Because when you're watching somebody who just plays Minecraft, you have like a connection with that person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the similar interests. You know, you can see them. I don't. It's there's an imprinting.
It's
that
like
happens.
more like personal almost.
Personal. Yeah,
Because-
it's a lot more personal.
Yeah, and I think my biggest thing is that it's so much more open, and you can find something that relates to your interest. With TV, I think that unless you like record every single show ever, you're always kind of searching to find something to watch, or you just watch television for the one thing that you want to watch.
Which is how I am.
Yeah, which is exactly how I am. If there's ever shows that I want to watch on TV, I watch them and then nothing else. I don't
Yeah.
really watch any other cable. I don't just scroll through TV.
No.
With YouTube, there's the options to go and find stuff that you like to see, find things that relate to that. So
And
you can find
there'll always be something.
there's always something. Even if you've completely caught up on every single one of your channels, there's more channels, there's more content, there's always something. Yeah, you like the hand gestures? You just gotta say
You're
there's
like
always
in a
something.
band or something.
Yeah, it's like- I'm like-
And
Yeah.
I feel like also because the content is right there, you know, you're able to click on it right as they post it.
Mhm.
You can get a
Right.
notification right as they post it. You don't really have commercials. If you pay for YouTube Red, you don't have commercials.
Yeah.
Or if you turn on ad block.
If you turn on ad block,
True.
or if you have the ads, it's not like a 5-minute commercial every 20 minutes.
Right.
Like you could watch a 30-minute video on YouTube and have maybe 5 ads
Well,
of
good
30 seconds each.
a good tenth of a TV show is commercials, but you don't have that with YouTube.
Isn't it about a third almost?
Well, you can have. It depends on what the creator wants, because a lot of people will do the 30-second to a minute rule in the front.
Yeah.
However, you can put. I think even the longest ones are only 3 minutes, but you can run a 3-minute ad every 5 minutes.
Oof.
If you wanted to.
Yeah, if you just hated your viewers.
Yeah, I remember when they started doing that, and I was like, I've got to stop watching long YouTube videos because I'm sick of the ads.
You know, I was so obsessed with it on my computer, and then when I got on my phone, I was like, why are there ads? Like, I must have just got lucky earlier
Yeah.
and not run into any videos with ads, but I just had ad block, and I forgot about it.
Something you might have not known is that and I don't know if it's still this way, but ads that were on mobile, they didn't go to the creators, the views for the money they
Right.
get. It didn't add up right for them.
Well, the ads don't really give that much money anyway. Like, you get it for displaying the ad, but you get like maybe a tenth of a penny for everybody who clicks on it.
Yeah.
Right, but
It's not worth a whole lot.
anybody from the mobile view, it wasn't counting at all to their
Really?
money.
Is that still the case?
I'm
or
not
or did
sure.
They fix that?
I'm not sure, but this
The
was
way
the
YouTube
case at one
fixes
point.
any problems, I don't.
They just forget about it.
I would have a hard time.
Act like it
believing that
didn't
they fix
happen.
anything.
But yeah, like going off the point that it's more personal, I definitely feel that is so true, because most of the time it is just that one person, and I feel like they care a lot more about the content that they're making because it's them making it. You don't have script writers.
Right. Well,
some
you might.
that's not
Yeah.
that's not always true. But you don't have
Some
somebody.
of them are just productions.
Yeah, some of them are
really
productions, and sometimes that's why they're really so popular, is because they are productions, and that's just such a popular thing that it's set up to get views.
Well, there's a dude I watch who does. He has a video every like month to month and a half, but he's got a script writer, he's got a set designer, like all sorts of
Wow.
shit like that. Yeah, it's a whole production.
That's crazy.
But then there's the people who sit down in front of their
Camera
camera
and play
on their
video
beds and just talk for 30 minutes about
Yeah.
nothing. And
What, are you trying to call us out right now?
I'm sorry. I didn't even think about that. I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
But yeah,
But they can be very relatable, even younger children are
Right.
able to access YouTube. There's like a YouTube Kids app now that keeps popping up on my screen.
yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but that always happens.
I do
to
not.
me.
Just
Do you
because I
swear?
act like a child doesn't mean I am a child.
It's because we watch the Marble videos.
It's because
and
we
It
watch the Marvel
is.
videos. That's what it
it's
is.
the problem. I watch a lot of what's the fungicational videos.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So I get a lot of.
I can get behind some fun educational.
Most definitely.
Sorry, fungicational.
It's
It just sounds like a bad virus.
I've got confunctionitis.
Hey,
Confungication.
I can't come to class today. I've got fungicational.
Yo, break it down. So here's a follow-up question to that then.
Yeah.
Since you say it's so much more personal, do you think retention is higher in YouTube videos than it is in normal standard television? Like, do you think people... Because, like, anybody turns on TV and then does whatever they want.
Mhm.
But do you think that that's more of a case in YouTube, since it is, again, just another media outlet? Do you think a lot of people just turn it on and just have a background noise?
I have definitely done that many times. I've watched videos to help me fall asleep, and I just kind of watch them and then fall asleep. But a lot of the time with those videos, I'm like, oh man, I don't remember what I watched, and I'll go back and watch it to actually watch the content. So
It's giving them more money.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Here's a couple more views thrown your way. There you go. But no, I feel like people watch YouTube more for the content than just to have something on. Now, I may just be speaking for myself. That may not be the case for everyone, but I feel that it is that is the case for a lot of people, I think. Another point, do we think that we think it's more relevant and more popular because we're younger and that's what everybody our age does? Is TV maybe more relevant because more older people watch it?
I feel like
Yes.
TV's fallen out Oh,
go
hey,
ahead.
go
Dale.
ahead. Go ahead. I'll let you start with this then, Dale.
So I think with an older generation, like they're still all about their TV, their network news, and all that nonsense. Where we'll subscribe to a YouTube news channel and watch their take on news and whatnot instead of bothering with NBC, CNN, or any of that. And
You guys don't do that?
No, don't watch.
I do that.
You watch
Do you
YouTube
really?
news?
I watch. I don't even.
Oh,
don't
I
even
think I
know.
heard a couple of weeks ago that Alec watches everything on
I
YouTube.
watch
so.
quite literally anything that comes across the feed.
That's very true.
but I mean, I know
no,
my mom
Dale, keep
still
going. Go on.
still watches a lot of just big name TV, and
Well, I know, Dale. You personally, you watch Philip DeFranco, right?
I do from time to time, yeah.
Yeah. So that's. I mean, maybe not. Maybe a little more clickbaity than like CNN, but you're still getting a news outlet,
True.
basically.
Yeah. So, but my point was, is there more older people that watch TV than there are younger people that watch YouTube? Or do you think it's a fair balance right now?
Oh. I think my parents watch YouTube unintentionally.
Really?
Like Facebook click views,
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
Facebook. My stepdad watches a whole lot more. He'll watch sports on TV, and he'll watch like SNL and like Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
And then he'll watch Facebook videos.
Okay.
But that's about it. Other than like he reads like online articles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like that's pretty much it. But like pretty much all the Facebook videos are just YouTube videos linked.
So do we think that there's a shift going on right now where people
I think
are
that
realizing?
totally could be.
Yeah.
Because like the difference is okay. So like to the Facebook thing, the thing I see the most on Facebook is America's Got Talent videos. At least right now.
Yeah, that's very.
And it's
true.
like, why would I sit down and watch an hour-long episode of America's Got Talent when I could streamline the best ones and just watch, 15 minutes of
when
it?
they post it on their YouTube channel.
And they post it on their YouTube channel. I could see all the best ones
Yeah.
just like that.
Yeah.
But I will also say, I feel like, especially when it comes to families, like sitting down and watching specific shows
Right.
at the television is still a thing. Like, my family will get together and watch Big Brother or Dancing with the Stars, and like I know Jacob's family watches America's Got Talent and American Ninja Warrior.
And that's it.
And that's all.
That's
My,
where-
my
that is
family
where the
sits
line
down
is
and-
You
drawn.
still, but you still have that, and you're not able to get that on YouTube. I
Well,
don't think.
I think you could, but it would be it would be very strange.
Right.
Yeah. Just
It
casting
would be,
casting a Minecraft video for
I'll
the family
show-
to
For the
watch.
whole family to
I'll
watch.
show
Bam,
my
bam.
family YouTube videos quite often, actually.
Yeah.
But what I watch doesn't necessarily. I watch a lot of weird
Yeah.
shit. So
Yeah,
like
and-
it might be different.
And the thing is, there's a lot more censorship with TV than there is with YouTube.
That's
So
true.
you can run into the awkward situation where sometimes a word gets through that you didn't know was going to be in the video, and you show your parents, and
I'll all the time
yeah,
like listen to music or watch a video, and then as soon as I play it for my mother, I hear every curse word 10 times louder.
yeah, you don't recognize any of them
I did
until
not hear it.
your mother is watching and your
Yeah.
grandma is having a stroke somewhere because she heard you listening to
Yeah.
that. She knew it happened. But yeah, I think I can definitely see a shift happening. It's just going to be, I think maybe once we get older, but maybe also once we get older, something else will happen and YouTube won't be relevant.
I've been around in YouTube for a very long time.
Yeah.
Like I had an iPod Touch when it first came out, and I had YouTube on that bad boy, and I'd watch YouTube every single night
Yeah.
for like hours at a time.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, it was legit.
Yeah.
I was one of the cool kids. I could play the little fingerboard skate game on my iPad, on my iPod Touch.
Oh man. But yeah. You have anything else to add on that?
What about just the change from live television to Netflix? And how that
okay.
has completely changed the scale.
I think a lot of families are switching to Netflix, Hulu,
Yeah.
but that might just be personal experience.
It's cheaper too.
It is cheaper.
At least, like, I don't pay for my cable at home. We have cable at home, but it's definitely, I think it's cheaper, especially now, like
It's
for
a lot
students.
cheaper.
That Hulu's doing the whole Spotify Premium Hulu thing. Like,
Right,
that was really
right.
exciting.
Yeah.
But, like, you don't really necessarily need cable anymore.
Mhm.
Right.
Because you're able to get the shows that
You can watch whatever
you can watch whatever. And if your parents have cable, you can pretty much sign into any sort of.
But then it turns
watch
to
app.
I want Hulu Premium to not pay for commercials, to not
Right.
watch commercials
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all that, and
So
that's how they get you. But like, for my family, we were probably the first people I knew, at least that I had been told about, that switched from cable to Hulu, Netflix, and we had Netflix. As soon as Netflix came out, we dropped cable, and as soon as Hulu came out, after some thorough convincing, we got Hulu too, and we've been on that train ever since before like high school. It's been a very long time since we've had cable, but now they just have bunny ears so they can watch Jimmy Fallon and whatever the singing one is.
America's Got Talent? The Voice?
The Voice.
The
Yeah.
Voice.
We're always all about The Voice.
yeah. So like I think with YouTube and then you have Netflix and Hulu all coming together, I think slowly I'm gonna make a prediction. I think within the next 45 years, I think is a fair amount of time.
We'll check in back then.
Yeah, I think in the next 45 years you will see cable die out.
I think.
I'd go for next 20.
Ooh, you're going shorter, huh?
I don't know if I can get
Now, what do you
behind
mean
that.
by die out? Do you mean like nobody has it?
I'm gonna say
What's the number? Like 10% of houses have it?
I'd say probably like 5%.
5% counts as the dying out.
I would say that's a fair dying out point.
Okay.
5% of households in the world having cable still. I think that's a fair dying out
I
point.
mean, even like to go back to Jimmy Fallon, like Jimmy Fallon posts all his shit on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. All these things post their content somewhere else where it's more accessible and they're getting more views. Because, but yeah, I said 45 years for the fact that there are some stubborn people in this world that will
No.
stand behind their belief that cable is the one true streaming thing.
Okay. It's a bit dramatic.
Well,
was
and like the
dramatic.
people who don't want to learn how to use technology.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, okay, so there's that, but we have a Roku at home.
Mhm.
And if you don't know what a Roku is, it's like an Amazon Fire. You have a remote for it that has Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, Crackle, whatever else, like everything streaming. And my parents, who know nothing about technology, work it all the time.
Yeah, so
It could be sooner than you think.
it could be. I very firmly believe that. But I think,
Because you'll find people who are older who just don't want to pay for it,
yeah,
and they just won't.
that's true. So, I
It's
don't know.
hard
My
to say.
prediction, I stand behind my 45 years. I stand behind it.
What were you going to say, Del?
I was just gonna make a little comparison to how radio has changed, and how I feel like we could kind of all agree that radio's pretty much died out, but then like all cars still have radio.
And not all cars have
The kick, yeah.
auxiliary cords.
Well, that's just old cars mostly.
My car is from 2006. I mean, that's 11 years old, and I will say that's a fairly long time ago.
That's a pretty good aged car.
But it's not that old of a car.
That's true. See, the
Mine's
thing.
a 07.
For a
I've
decade
got
though.
knocked
Think
away,
about
so
what
you
else
missed
happened in
it.
the last decade.
Just missed it.
Yeah. The thing with cars versus TVs it is a lot easier to change out TVs, and you do it a lot more frequently than you do a car.
Okay, so let's do.
Okay.
Speaking of dying out,
Okay.
how soon?
The dodo.
The
Will it come back?
last melon.
The last melon. Was that an Ice Age reference? Wow.
The only
sorry,
movie.
Go on.
How long do you think until there are no more DVDs on this planet? And by that I mean they don't sell them in stores anymore. Akin to VCR.
Okay.
Everything's Blu-ray.
Yeah. Oh, so no more DVDs, just
Oh.
Blu-ray?
Right.
Just Blu-ray.
Okay.
I'm thinking 10 years. Might be ambitious, but I'm thinking 10 years.
Okay, I could see it.
Because when the Blu-ray came out, it was about the same time that the PS3 came out, which would be
9
years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So 9 years ago, Blu-ray players were around $800 because that's what they labeled the PlayStation at. And that's what a lot of people don't know that, but that's why the PlayStation was so expensive. It was actually the cheapest Blu-ray player on the market when it came out at $800.
Yep.
But anyway, you can get a Blu-ray player for $50.
Oh yeah, and that's like a pretty good Blu-ray player.
And it's cheap.
Yeah.
And every console plays Blu-ray. I don't know about the Nintendo Switch or the Wii U or whatever, but I don't.
Nintendo needs to figure
all,
out what's happening.
Like newer TVs that like have DVD players in them, are those Blu-ray players?
I don't know if that's a thing anymore.
I don't know if people do that anymore.
Well, we still have 3 TVs in my house that have DVD players in them. My bad. I'm pretty sure we got them like 6 years ago though. Now
Yeah, I don't think most TVs anymore have built-in DVD players in them.
Really?
Like
my oldest TV does. The first TV I ever bought.
Like ours are just like on the side. It's not like the big clunky one.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But that's not a thing anymore.
Oh, my bad.
That's not a thing. Do you see how slim they want the TVs to be? They don't have the space for a DVD player.
Yeah, you can't put a DVD player in a curved TV.
Okay, my bad.
No, I don't think that's a thing
So
anymore.
ignore what I said then.
I think that there definitely are people who have that though, and I don't know. Like, it's so easy to convert it though. If it's not a Blu-ray player, it's so easy to make it one.
Yeah.
I just.
You got
I don't know.
a mini lesson for us?
Yeah.
What?
Is it?
How to convert
How do you
it?
convert it?
Well, no. You can't convert it. I'm saying like instead of building it with the technology to read DVDs.
Yes. Okay.
I don't know how to. Hey, stick a paper clip in there and then it reads Blu-ray players. It's actually really sweet.
Hacker voice. I'm in.
I'm in.
Oh man.
How to turn your DVD player into a Blu-ray player.
Yeah. Paperclip. Try it.
You open it, and you take out all the DVD stuff, and then you put in Blu-ray stuff.
Yeah.
But then going on the same point, like how long do you think CDs will be relevant?
Are CDs still
10
relevant?
years.
I love a good CD. Now this is also because I don't have an aux cord in my car, but I love
You want a
good
collection of
physical
old
CD.
Alex CDs?
I love a good physical CD.
I'll tell you, I'm going home. You can have my whole fucking collection.
Yeah,
of
well,
when I didn't
I'll
have
take
one.
it, dude. I love CDs. I have those big, like, bulky, like, CD holders from Walmart.
Oh, yeah.
I love a good CD. So
I used to have
maybe
one
it's just
because
me, but-
the tape player I had didn't work. Like there was the tape to aux conversion thing, and every time I went over a bump, it would spit the tape out. And I was like, well, guess I can't use that. So I just made a lot of CDs, like a lot of CDs. I have 2 like.
Oh, so they're
full-
mix CDs.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good. That's perfect.
Yeah.
I can't
Okay.
wait.
I'm glad you're excited. It's gonna be a mix between angst and like shit rap.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
If anybody wants to send some CDs our way, my address is 9. No.
Is it really 9?
Yeah, that's it.
You have the address 9?
Yep.
That's
Just type
sweet.
in. Put a little 9 in the center of the envelope and stick that bad boy in and head my way.
So I don't want to sidetrack too far.
Okay.
Interesting tidbit.
Okay.
There's a Minecraft account for sale right now, and the name of the Minecraft account is the letter 8. That's it. Just the letter 8.
That's the name?
The name is just the letter 8. Do you have any idea how much money it goes for?
I don't want to.
How much they're selling it for?
50,000.
Oh, wow. Okay, no.
Oh, but
That's like really high.
I know. I
Like
thought it was going to be
thousands.
a
Oh wow, I
stupid
thought we were
amount like
talking
that.
maybe like a couple million or something ridiculous.
Oh, no.
you made it sound like it was
Does
gonna
anyone
be
have any guesses before I just I'll just reveal it. I don't even care.
750.
Okay, 750. I don't think that's unreasonable.
Uh,
Considering I'm telling you it's something unreasonable, I don't think that's a bad guess.
$1,200.
Okay, Dale?
15.
15 what?
$15. That's it. That was Dale's guess. Nope,
1,500.
too late, Dale. That was your guess.
1,500. It is $9,000.
Oh.
$9 grand.
$9,000.
Wow.
Because there are so many Minecraft accounts that are made. To have one with a single digit of any kind is immediately worth like $5,000 plus.
Did you mean the number 8?
Yeah.
You were saying the letter 8.
You were saying the
that's
letter
not
8.
Well, either way, if you had the letter Z, it would be like $8,000 too. You need to calm down.
This whole time, I thought the account name was the letter 8. And I was like, what's so cool about that?
Dale, can you edit that out?
Okay, so it's just like the number
It's
itself.
just 8.
Okay, it's just 8.
The 8 digit, yeah. To have any account with just a single of anything, like any letter, symbol, whatever, is incredibly expensive because there's so many accounts made.
Yeah.
That it would have had to have been like.
It would have had, immediate,
ones.
yeah.
That's crazy. So yeah, if anybody wants to buy that,
$9,000.
There's a link somewhere, I'm sure, if it hasn't already been sold.
just go ahead and send the $9,000 to me. The
I'll
address is
get the account and then I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
We'll set up a system.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, what's the next topic? What do we got?
Got field trips.
Ooh, what about field trips?
As future teachers, and you and Hannah, I want to get your opinion on maybe some plans you have for your future little kiddos.
Well, okay, so let's start. What grades are you aiming to
Elementary,
teach?
right?
Well, right.
Thank you.
Dale.
Thank you.
Yes,
Sorry, I wasn't sure if that was directed at me or them.
No.
Yeah, what are you
Hannah,
going to teach, Dale?
Go ahead.
I am aiming towards primary elementary, so K through 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I want to do upper, 3rd through 5th. Primarily, my focus is 5th grade.
I did not know that it was labeled as primary and upper.
It's
and upper.
technically primary and intermediate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So what is middle school then?
Middle school.
Middle school. Yeah.
Oh. They don't get
They
cool
just
names.
label the elementary school that way, so because you could say elementary and it spans all the way from kindergarten to
Kindergarten
5th grade.
to 5th graders,
Right.
yeah.
So you can
So
say
what's preschool then? Just
preschool.
Okay.
It's early childhood education.
Yeah, or
Early
early
childhood.
childhood.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I should know that because my mom does.
Yeah. Your mom does
Anyway.
early childhood. Anyway, so kindergarten to 2nd for Hannah and 3rd to 5th for me. So I have older, she has younger, elementary.
Mm-hmm.
So who do you think goes on more field trips then? What age range?
Nowadays, field trips are very far and few between,
Yes.
to be honest with you.
I feel like that as well.
Yeah.
I have no idea because
Yeah.
I have not been on the field trip nor. Well, I guess the last field trip I was on was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
2 of my sisters are elementary school teachers. One is a kindergarten teacher and the other is a 4th grade teacher. And I cannot remember my sister is a 4th grade teacher talking about field trips, but I know that the kindergarten class goes on maybe 1 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, do you think it's justified in the cost then, or is that what's kind of being realized maybe that it's not worth the money to take all these kids on a field trip because they don't learn as much?
Okay, speaking from experience, I know growing up, so I'm talking about me when I was in elementary school.
Okay.
Whenever I went on field trips, I probably didn't learn as much as my teachers and the district thought I did.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back on it now, as somebody that's going to be a teacher, I'm like, man, kids can learn so much from field trips because there's so many opportunities from learning. You're having hands-on experiences.
But they're probably not.
But they're...
I think it really depends on where you go.
Yeah.
Because I remember a few field trips, very few field trips from my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we went to the zoo in Topeka once, which was really cool because we had to ride the bus all the way to Topeka. And I remember going to this place in intermediate elementary. I can't remember. I was probably in 5th grade. And like it was like you were underground. I don't remember. Like you learned about like ecosystems.
Oh yeah, I remember that place.
Earthworks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all went to
That's a
Earthworks.
cool place.
Yeah, I thought it was a cool place, and I feel like there's so much hands-on there, and you're literally underground.
I held a slug in Earthworks.
I think that
Dude, I was in the prairie. See, the fact that we can remember that
I
proves the
feel
point.
like that you
Yeah.
learned something.
Yeah.
Well, I learned that, you shouldn't hold slugs because they're gross.
But going off of that, I mean, a lot of the field trips, when you think of a classic field trip, name a classic field trip that you would think of. Like, when you think of field trips.
all day.
Well, no, like, but like, when people think of field trips,
okay.
what do they think of?
I think of exploring the human body with Miss Frizzle.
It's not going to be a normal field trip, is it?
With the Frizz?
Not with Miss Frizzle.
No way.
Yeah, with the Frizz, no way. Whenever I
The
think...
zoo. I think of the zoo.
The
yeah,
zoo?
I would think of the zoo.
Museums,
Yes.
right?
I don't know if we ever went to a museum.
Oh, really? I'm pretty sure we went to a lot of museums.
In high school, we went to the World War
Nelson
One.
High School. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where's the World War One at?
The memorial.
Kansas City. The big, really tall memorial thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't know if we went to a whole lot of, like, I don't know. The field trips that I remember are not educational at all. Because I know we went to see Meet the Robinsons.
Yeah, I heard you guys. Yeah,
I
you
don't
guys were
know.
talking about that, and that just makes no sense to me. Because the only time I can remember going to see a movie was because I was in like National Honor Society in middle school. I know it was really exciting.
They have National Honor Society
Well,
in middle school?
We did.
Who
Well,
can't get
maybe it wasn't
into an AHS?
national, but it was like the honor society of our school.
Okay.
You got A
and
and B,
like
nice.
as a treat, we like got to go see the Bee movie. Actually, is what it was.
Nice.
You like jazz?
You like jazz?
So,
um,
sorry.
Um,
But that makes sense to me because it was a treat. It wasn't.
Right.
It wasn't a field trip. That makes no
Yeah.
sense to me that you guys went and saw Meet the Robinsons.
well, we also went to the Nutcracker. I remember very specifically
that must have been
because
an expensive field trip.
my mother.
Yeah.
Well, it was like live too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
we
my
went to see
mother,
that too.
my mother packed me chicken and a biscuit for a snack. Is that weird? That's
such
the
a
detail
weird
that I
snack to
remember.
bring.
Yeah. No, it's. How dare you? It's a good snack. You ever had it?
It's a good snack. It's a weird snack to bring on a field trip.
You know what I'm talking about? The
Yes,
crackers?
Yes.
What's weird about crackers?
They're like, I never liked chicken and biscuit, to be honest with you.
What is wrong with you?
Okay, maybe it was just my personal preference. but-
Alright, well, you're wrong. But anyway, not a weird.
Wait,
not a
she
weird
didn't pack
snack.
like grilled chicken and an actual biscuit?
Sorry, that's what I thought of. I don't know.
it's just like a cracker with like powdered cheese stuff
Yeah.
on
Okay,
it.
got
It's,
it.
Yeah.
It was never one of my favorites.
I remember because we never bought it because it was like expensive and it would go really fast.
Okay, but back to
Anyway, back to
Yeah,
field trip.
I also remember going to the Nutcracker in 4th grade, and I'll tell you what, as a 4th grader, you don't appreciate any of it.
But I say I didn't even
That's
care.
very true.
Did not care.
I didn't know even. I
I
didn't even
think-
know why we went.
I think field trips like that need to be focused more towards high school.
Mhm.
Like we went and saw a musical with my drama department in high school.
Yeah, and that's
That's
perfect.
an okay field trip
Yeah.
to go on. But I will also say, I don't think we have the resources, at least in our state, really.
Mhm.
There's not that much going on.
Mhm.
There is cool things,
Right.
but like as far as like museums and stuff, it's not like we live in
Chicago.
or Washington D.C.
Mhm.
But you can go and see like these memorials and stuff if you're learning about them.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like I remember when I lived in London, we would see groups out all the time on field trips because there's so many museums
Right. There's
right
so many.
by each other.
Well, you can walk,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Very
also
true.
walk and you can take.
so there's not the
tube and
bus
it's
fare
easier.
and all the other stuff.
Yeah. So, I think a big part of it is funding, and a big part of it is the choice of place. Because I think too many times for a long period of time, they were picking places that weren't really relevant to learning. Like, because I think the thing behind a field trip is that you should learn something, but it's also a break from scheduled learning. So there should still be a section where you are actually learning something, because that's primarily the objective.
I think, and this is also from personal experience. I totally think you learn more as a child on field trips than you do as an adult. Because when I went to the zoo in high school,
Why? What?
I don't know. We went to the zoo,
Yeah.
didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we went to the zoo.
I think that was a reward.
The only thing, well, I mean, it's not technically a field trip.
Yeah.
But it is still.
I don't think the
school
zoo should
fund,
ever
right?
be a field trip, but
I mean, I think it pulls from the same funding, doesn't it?
yeah, it does. It definitely pulls
Okay.
from the funding of educational
Well,
field trips.
we'll kind of lump it in there.
No, I
But
agree.
the
Go
only
ahead.
thing I remember from going to the zoo in high school was somebody dared me to walk up on a goose, and it got real mean at me. But like as a kid, you're like learning about like giraffes and like big that
I
animal
think
is.
the zoo could be helpful definitely more as younger.
I think
if you're
younger
learning about
kids, yeah.
biology and
Yeah.
like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, because it's like, there's big animals, small animals,
Right.
tall, short. There's all sorts of different stuff, and it's like stuff that you wouldn't see. And I don't know, maybe school's just not the right time to, because the point of the field trip is to learn something.
Mm-hmm.
But would you learn more from going to the zoo than if a teacher were to
Show educational
over-
YouTube videos.
yeah, through funjucational YouTube videos.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay, here's my second point to this. With field trips, there's so much structure that you can do with it. So, like if you go to the zoo, you can always set up things to where a member of the zoo, somebody that works there, can come talk about some of the animals that you're learning about. So let's say your class is learning about tigers. So for some reason you're having a unit on tigers. You can go to the zoo, have that quick structured setup where they talk about tigers and tell you more about tigers, and then have the rest of the time to relax and have fun. So that way you still have your learning, you still have your set goal, but then you also have time for kids to relax, because that's just as important.
And I will also say, from the standpoint of like planning a lesson and planning a unit, that kind of stuff, there would need to be an assessment. Like you have to
See if they
you have
actually
to be able
learned
to see
anything,
if they actually learned, because you're right, you can't just leave kids on their own at the zoo. They're not going to learn anything
God, no.
unless
Right.
somebody really
They're gonna
tells them.
run off
Unless
and go
they
try to
really
pet the
want to.
kangaroos.
Exactly.
Well, don't pet the kangaroos because they're probably not very soft.
No,
Uh,
they're not fenced in.
No,
either.
they're. I've pet kangaroos before. They're pretty awesome.
Whoa.
Where did you pick kangaroos?
Wow.
Australia.
You guys know we have Steve Irwin on the podcast with us today?
Yeah, rest in peace, buddy.
No, Dale's been to Australia. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I've totally been to Australia. Yeah, and we went to a zoo, and got to hold
So,
a koala.
Australia. You just went to Australia then, because Australia is a zoo.
Blacks, yeah.
I did see wild kangaroos while I was there. Once
that's
we were kind of
actually
on a
pretty
kind of a wildlife kind of camping
Did
area.
you or did you not drive Jeeps everywhere?
Yeah.
No, we drove a bus because there were a lot of us.
But, like, was the bus like a Jeep?
Yeah.
No, not at all. It was your standard
'Cause
coach
I'm pretty
bus.
sure to be in Australia, you have to be driving a Jeep
Yeah.
of some sort.
I have
yeah.
never
There's
heard
no
that
other
before.
way.
Yeah.
Well, you probably didn't go to Australia then.
It's gonna be like dirt in your tires, and you need like big tires,
Yeah.
like Jeep tires.
Yeah. So what we're saying is you probably drove a Jeep.
Yeah, and if we could get sponsored by Jeep on the podcast, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Oh, man. Wait, what did you go to Australia for? Just for funsies?
No, I was invited to be a part of this organization called People to People Student Ambassadors back in the day, and it was
Wait, was this a school-funded thing?
no, this was its own funded thing, and
I was like, was this a field trip?
Yeah.
And,
It was the greatest field trip.
well,
of
this
all
is
time.
I guess
Insane.
this actually fits perfectly into our topic because so I was nominated by somebody I never knew who originally, probably a teacher, I guess. And,
George Bush. Okay, go on.
What?
I mean, he might have been president at the time.
True. Go on.
Anyway, so I went through this like interview process, and my parents paid for it and all that. But it was the first one. This was the summer after 5th grade, and it was 2.5 weeks in Australia. We started in Melbourne and kind of went our way up the coast. Ended up in Cairns, or Cairns as they like to pronounce it. And we did a whole bunch of stuff, a lot of educational stuff, considering the first day we went to a natural art museum.
Okay.
That's awesome.
So wait, did you guys have like teachers there with you? or
Yeah,
who
so-
went with you?
Probably a couple of sponsors.
Yeah.
They were I'm trying to remember. We had 2 like leaders, and they were both teachers. One was a music teacher. I can't remember what the other one did.
The most qualified to take you
Right.
guys
To Australia, yeah.
Of course. And then we met up with this is a national thing, and our group had like 20, and we joined up with like a group from I think Florida that had like maybe 10, and then like a group from Utah that had maybe another 10. And
Wow,
like they each had their own like leaders. So
that's pretty cool.
A lot of people don't know this. Dale is very worldly. He's traveled a lot.
Yeah,
A lot more than you and I'm
Yeah.
sure.
probably. I don't doubt it.
Because you went to London too, didn't you, Dale?
I went around Europe as well. That was for the Kansas Ambassadors of Music.
Dale's all about this ambassador.
Hey,
That's really cool.
Hey man, you take
Man.
you take your opportunities, right?
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
But actually, what happened was I actually went back to Australia a couple years later with the same group, people to people, but it was a little bit different trip, and it was a little less educational and more interactive because in this one, like I learned how to surf.
Oh,
Dang.
Cool.
So you went to Australia twice?
Yes, I've been to Australia twice.
relaxed too. He's totally lax about it.
Wow. Like the only cool thing that I did in elementary school was I got to like join this like state choir thing and we went to Topeka.
Well, this would have been.
Wow,
This would've been
Jacob, in
going to
middle
middle
school, I
school,
got to go to
was it,
St. Louis
though?
to Six Flags for orchestra. Come on now.
What the heck, man?
Oh, twice.
Oh,
Twice.
I don't
You do
even.
everything twice, you jerk.
I don't even like Six Flags. I don't fit on the rides anymore.
Aw. My mother's grandparents, so my great grandparents, lived right behind Six Flags in St. Louis. So whenever we went to visit, we would run in their backyard, and you would go over a couple hills, and then you would be right at the back gate of Six Flags.
That sounds
wow.
awesome and terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the same
that sounds
time.
kind
Yeah.
of horrible.
It was really cool. I mean, honestly, it wasn't even that loud. Because
Yeah.
I guess Six Flags closed at probably like, what, 10?
I guess, yeah.
10:30? So, like, by the time we were all heading to sleep, I mean, it was pretty much closed anyway, so... It wasn't too crazy. I just thought it was the coolest thing because you could walk through their backyard, go over a couple of hills in nature, and then there was a huge amusement park right there. We never snuck in. I thought we would.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that you would have.
Like, I thought
you
we
should
would.
have done.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
didn't, and
No.
now this story is irrelevant.
I guess if you live that
Ow,
close, you
ouch.
probably just buy a season ticket anyway.
Yeah.
They probably just
We just
have a
watched,
discount
like-
for you. Like, here you go.
We
Well,
just watched,
whatever.
like,
You'd be
VeggieTales
like,
instead.
I live like over there. Can I get like a reduced price?
Yeah, yeah,
Well, I
fair
know.
enough.
I know for Jackson County residents, they get discounts to the zoo.
Oh. I wonder if we get discounts to the zoo here.
You mean-
the free
oh,
zoo.
the free zoo here in
Emporia?
Emporia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we get a hella discount.
The
actually.
coolest zoo ever. Sarcasm. All right, I want to talk about pageant moms.
Okay.
Okay, hear me out.
Okay.
We're going to talk about whether or not we think it is ethical for these pageants to be put on, and how much parent involvement there is. Do we think it's ethical?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing unethical about holding a pageant.
Okay.
Like inherently, there's nothing wrong with.
Yeah.
With
The
holding a
idea of a
pageant.
pageant is not unethical.
Okay. Even for children.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the thing that, like, the counter argument that I have that it's not unethical is that they could say that I forgot what I was gonna say. What did you drop?
I'm sorry. I dropped the little squishy part of my earbud because I've been playing with it while we've been talking, and I just found it. Sorry.
Oh, man.
Continue.
Well, that threw me off. Okay. Anyway, I was just sitting there watching you, and then I got thrown off.
Very struggling.
Okay. But I was talking about pageants,
Yeah.
and the counter argument that I could have is that the main goal of pageants, what do we think it is?
Compete in
Um,
pageantry.
to be honest, it's to win.
To
Right.
win. And how do you
very
have to win?
competitive. Just really competitive. Like whatever
you
they
need to
do.
beat out the other people to win.
Yeah, by looking pretty, right?
Well, not necessarily, because there's like a talent portion, and
Yeah. I mean, but most of the pageant is focused on the looks. Would
Are
you agree with
You're
that?
talking specifically for children, right? We're talking specifically about.
I'm just talking about pageants.
well,
in
yeah,
general
but
right
I'm
now.
saying like the unethicalness you're talking about
Yes,
specifically for
is
children.
with children.
Okay,
Yes.
got it.
There's a whole
How-
other section of
right,
pageants and
how-
how messed
Yeah.
up they are. But
how young of
yes.
children.
Now, yeah, the reason I'm not talking about regular pageants and how bad that is because, like, those people can have a choice for themselves. and they can choose to compete.
How
How
young, are
young?
the children?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. How young are the children? I would say less than 10 is
Okay.
where I draw the line. Now, the reasoning behind me saying this is I think for me, for it to be unethical is because it's teaching these girls way too young that they have to be beautiful to win. And they have to beat out these other girls by looking beautiful, and they're not already like that. That sounds really... You guys are all
Wow.
beautiful and everything.
Wow.
But, I mean, I just don't think it's really cool because mainly it's the parents, I think, that want these girls to compete. Now, there could be girls out there that are like, man, I really want to compete in this, and I want to put on this dress, I want to do it all. But I think the majority of it is parents that are saying, okay, you're going to go out and compete, show everyone how beautiful it is, shake your butt as you walk out.
And I can see where you're coming from for that, especially because I don't know if you know this about me, but I was an avid Toddlers and Tiaras watcher. Wonderful show. It was a great time.
Mm-hmm.
But you saw a lot of girls who didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And who would complain and who would cry because they didn't want to put their dress on or they didn't want to get their hair done. Like, they just wanted to play. Like, they didn't want to compete. But
Yeah.
then there was also girls who enjoyed it and wanted to look good and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I can understand where you're coming from because I definitely do not think that young women should be taught that.
No. Like, for those girls, is it like... parent abuse is kind of a big, mean thing to say. But, like,
You
would
gonna
it
call
be
it child
considered...
abuse?
Or, yeah. Did I say parent abuse?
Yeah.
Okay. Child abuse is kind of a harsh thing to say. But do we think maybe it is a version of child abuse for them to force their kids to do it? I'm posing the hard questions out.
I don't know. I don't know enough about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
All I know is Honey Boo Boo.
I think there should be a
That's all
level
I know.
of the parents should be more than willing to back off and just let the kid just make that choice to be like, this ain't for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that it's the parents have to recognize when to push and when to back
Yes,
off, and that's kind
I'll
of
agree with that.
that's kind of where the problem sets in. Is like when the parent doesn't recognize
Yeah.
the issue.
Well,
Sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I would say, and especially with that, like, when you don't get to see everything, like when they show it on TV or
Right.
when they showcase it, like, you could see that maybe this parent, every time before a pageant, sits down and talks with their kid and says, hey, is this something that we still want to
Right.
do? Is this something you still want to do? And the kid says, yes, I really want to do it. And by the time they get to the
And then
pageant,
they
they're sick
complain.
of it and
Yeah.
they complain about it. But the parent's like, no, you said we were going to do this, so we're
Right,
going to
and
finish
we
it.
spent all the time and money, and we're out here, and we're gonna
Yeah,
do it.
fair enough. So probably most of it is just what they show on TV to
Well,
dramatize the whole
drama,
situation.
Yeah. It's all and that's kind of the difference, though, right? Is we don't see everything behind closed doors.
Yeah.
You don't know.
And there also could be cases where a child doesn't want to do it 1 week just because he's having a bad day.
I never wanted to go to soccer practice.
Yeah.
But I loved playing soccer.
Exactly.
And I would complain and whine
Mm-hmm.
every single time my mom wanted me to take me to practice.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I got there, it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
But when I didn't want to go, I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
But I still wanted to play.
Yeah, exactly. Because no kid wants to just go sit there and practice. It's
Right.
boring.
So, like, it could be the same thing.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
It's another thing that's kind of hard to say when it comes to sports, at least. And I mean, you could say the same thing in pageant. Like, there could be a natural talent in pageant. But if your kid has a natural talent and they're complaining every time and they don't want to go to practice, do you sit there and let them throw away that talent?
I think that's their choice. If a kid is really good at soccer and he's phenomenal at blowing other kids away, but hates it and wants to draw, but he's the world's worst artist, I mean, yeah, I guess you kind of let
Okay.
him follow it.
Okay.
What?
Dale, do you have anything to say on this before we
Uh,
move past?
I think that goes back to you got to know when to push and maybe motivate them in different ways to it.
Right.
Because I don't know, as a parent, you see your kid is really good at something. Like this could be something they can really excel at to the point where they can make a career out of it, even.
Right.
You kind of want to give them that little extra push, right?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think you just kind of want to push your kid to do their best. Fair enough.
All right. So I have a question to pose to you then.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Say
Okay.
you really wanted to learn to play guitar.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to use guitar. It could be any instrument, right?
Yeah, I want to play guitar. Why not?
Okay. Guitar is a cool instrument.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things you can do with it. There's a lot of songs with guitar. You can play like anyway.
Yeah.
So say you want to learn how to play guitar. Every time you go to practice for the first 5-6 months, your fingers are swelling with blisters.
Yeah.
Because you're always pushing the strings down. Do you stop because it hurts and you don't want to learn anymore because you're tired of the pain? Or do you push through because in that 7th month, your fingers don't hurt anymore, you don't get the blisters. They callus up, and you can play beautiful music on your guitar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're that young, there's the natural talent, but there's such a learning curve.
Yeah.
When you hit a certain point,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a graph. I'll draw it with my words, right?
Okay.
So
Paint me a picture, please.
on the y-axis, so up and down,
Mm-hmm.
you have experience,
Okay, I see it.
and then on your x-axis, so
Yeah,
horizontal,
Label your axis, please.
and horizontal you have time.
Okay.
After a certain point in the graph, and so like vertical would be work.
Mm-hmm.
So at a certain point, when you start at the origin, it's a lot of work
Okay.
and it's a lot of time, and you don't have any experience.
Okay.
But as it turns, it exponentially grows upwards to a point in which it's no longer work for you, but it's just fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have all the experience you need.
Yeah.
You know how to play all the chords.
Mm-hmm.
You know how to read music. You can play any song by listening to it.
Yeah.
And it's no longer just work for you. It's just
Enjoyment.
something fun. It's enjoyment,
Yeah.
right? So as a child, I feel like to a certain extent you need to push somebody to the point of which, or a child, to the point of which it no longer is work for them, but something they just enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if they get to that point and they don't like it anymore, that's when it's time.
Yeah.
That it's like it's your decision now.
Yeah, I can agree with that. So you got to push them for a little bit.
I think there needs to be enough pushing, because like as a kid, everyone would rather just go play with their friends than go to like practice for something.
Yeah.
Especially for instruments. Kids don't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But like a lot of kids that learned how to play instruments really young and were pushed to go to their music practice every week, a lot of them are very happy that they were pushed to that point, because now they can say, I've been playing guitar for 10 years. I can play a lot of different music.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
I can vouch for that as well, because I could read at a higher level at a very young age. I started taking piano lessons at the age of like 7, and it sucked. Like,
Yeah.
it was like I had to practice like 45 minutes to an hour a day.
Yeah.
And it was horrible, and I had to like document it, and my teacher was very strict. But now I can like sight read pretty much anything on the
Right.
piano, and it's really nice and it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that there's a certain amount of pushing. This does not have anything to do with pageants anymore. But I think that there's a certain amount of pushing that needs to be done because as an adult who knows better, because like there's always something, like I always wish I stuck with guitar, and I never did.
Yeah.
But if somebody would have pushed me to practice every day, if somebody would have been watching me and said, "Hey, you need to practice," I would be so happy if I could play guitar.
Yeah. I think that kind of goes with any sort of activity. You said it didn't really have anything to do with pageants, but I think it could.
Right.
Because I think it's just any sort of activity. And you're right. I don't think any child is going to show their I can't figure out the word. I'm looking for.
Appreciation?
No,
They're not going to want to put the time in.
Yeah, that's true. And I can't think
I
of
don't know what
I'm
your
looking
word
for.
is. I wish I knew what your word is.
Yeah, their level of talent.
Potential.
Yeah.
First off, potential. Thank you, Dale. I don't think any child's going to show their potential right off. I don't think anybody's going to
Right.
pick up something and be like, "Oh, watch me play this sweet guitar solo." So yeah, I think that's fair that you have to push them a little bit before.
Isn't there a thing in early education where you just throw things at the kid to see kind of what sticks, see what they like, see what they can pick up on? Isn't that a thing?
There's quite a few things like that where you just have them go to. That's why they have specials in school, is because they want kids to experience a bunch of different things, and they have experience with a bunch of different things, and they have to stick with it. And then, if they like it and they want to keep going with it, that's why at middle school you have the option. Middle school you have the option, if you want to keep sticking with something, you can, but you don't have to. You don't have to stick with art or music or anything like that.
Well, Dale, you know how to play guitar. When did you start learning?
Originally I actually started playing the cello in 4th grade, and then somewhere around 7th or 8th grade I picked up guitar. And
you've been playing ever since.
Yeah. And because I'd already played cello for years, picking up guitar was really easy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And see, that's another thing too. Well, with music especially, they seem to all be kind of interlocked.
Yes,
but
most definitely.
Like I remember when I didn't know very much on the guitar, but I had just started learning guitar, and my cousins had played violin, and I literally picked up the violin and played Ode to Joy on the spot without any idea how to play it. And everyone was like, "Wow, that was really good." And I was like, "I don't know what the fuck I'm doing." And that was pretty cool. But
so yeah, I guess this could be said with any skill, because like you could say the same about like learning a language. So like it's gonna suck.
It's
learning
gonna
a
suck.
language sucks.
Nobody wants to put in the time,
Yeah.
but it pays off. That's what I'm saying with the curve. Is like there comes to a point where it's no longer work for you. It's all just like now I'm just developing this skill that I know.
Yeah. So yeah, I can get behind that. Look at that.
Yeah. Came full circle.
Yeah,
huh?
dude, you painted that picture in my head. I visualize it right now. I visualize your words.
I think about it all the time. Yeah.
Just painted a picture.
Learn something new every
Yeah,
day.
look at that. Oh man, we got about 4 more minutes.
Something like that.
Yeah, I want to talk.
Is there anything else that you had
touch on
the docket?
Do we want to touch on the editing of it?
No. Let's see here. We have diss tracks.
Oh no.
I don't think we're talking about diss tracks.
Oh, we can talk on diss tracks for a second.
I don't really know that much about diss tracks.
A diss track is when somebody calls you out, you drop a mad beat on them.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and you just talk shit.
Oh wait, we were
With
talking about this
rhymes.
the other day, right? That like the Katy Perry song was the diss track
Yeah.
for Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
so it's
right.
basically you just make a
However,
sick
yeah.
beat
Yeah.
and just go
And
to
just
town
go to
on
town on
somebody.
someone.
Well, unless you're Katy Perry and Taylor Swift, then you
Then you make
mellowly
a weird,
play a horrible song.
You play like a weird music
Yeah.
that doesn't really call attention to anything.
No, doesn't really diss anyone.
Yeah, I don't understand the culture of diss tracks,
No.
because it's kind of like instead of me, face to face telling you off, I'm gonna make a song.
It's a little
Yeah.
cowardly.
It is a little. It's like subtweeting.
It is like subtweeting.
It is.
and
It's subtweeting in the
is
music
cowardly.
genre.
I like that time. I like the idea of diss tracks being pretty cowardly, because it does seem that way.
It does.
Because it's like instead of me, like I'm gonna tell you all these things, but you're gonna have to like decipher the lyrics.
Yeah.
Like why? Just tell me.
Yeah.
I don't-
mean, it's just the same thing. Like people don't like confront.
Well, a lot of
They
it.
don't like confrontation.
Yeah.
A lot of it's internet beef.
True.
Like I think a lot of it, like even like with celebrities, I think it's a lot of just like minor petty crap.
Yeah, I think a lot of internet beef is solely based on the fact that it's so hard to read text.
But you know what?
without, intellect or dialect. Sorry, not intellect.
You know what though?
Oh, sometimes
Taylor
dialect.
Swift built a career on diss tracks.
That's so
Yes, that is a good point.
Because
Sorry, that
Blown
just-
away.
I really am blown away. Like if I was
You
listening to
came
this
in-
podcast,
yeah.
if I was listening to this podcast in my car right now, which is something that I do very often when I listen to you guys, just so you know, I would sit there and I would be like,
you.
"Wow, that's a really good point."
because like if you think about it, it's just like being mean. I don't understand it. Like Taylor Swift might be the very best example of somebody
diss
who's very
track.
popular who just makes diss tracks.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. It always seems to not really call anybody out.
Yeah, because like half the time it
It's-
takes like media people to try and decipher the lyrics.
It's
and they're
always
like,
a little
"Hey, this is what it's
ambiguous.
about."
Right.
Yes.
But that's kind of in the culture of pop music.
Right.
Is everything's is ambiguous.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, it's got to appeal to everybody.
Yeah,
right? So-
but I think the reason they make it ambiguous in these diss tracks is that so they can cover their own. It's
Yeah.
CYA.
Yeah.
Yeah, cover your ass. I mean, they're like, oh no, that wasn't about you. That could have been about anything, anybody.
I don't
It's just
know.
more cowardliness.
Well, I think all pop music is pretty ambiguous.
True.
I don't know.
Well, and that way, like when celebrities are sitting in an interview and they're like, "Oh yeah, this song about so and so," they're like, "Oh yeah, was it about them?
Yeah,
Like,
you
or
don't
was
know.
it
In the
not? You
interviews.
don't really know."
You don't know. You don't know what I'm about.
Oh man.
That's funny.
So yeah, diss tracks are dumb and cowardly.
But if you can get really super famous, do it.
By all means.
Good for you. Yeah.
Taylor Swift knew
Yeah,
what she was
good
doing.
for you. Yeah, Taylor Swift has created an empire on diss tracks.
Actually, though, like an actual empire.
Yeah.
You see the end of that last music video? She's kicking old Taylor's off.
Yeah.
Man, that was intense.
How did they do that?
The old Taylor's dead, dude.
Was
can't
it
come to the
She
CGI?
can't get to the phone. Why? 'Cause she's dead.
Was it just a bunch of Taylor Swift lookalikes?
I wonder. There's probably a convention somewhere of just like a bunch
Taylor
of Taylor Swift.
Lookalikes?
Yeah.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
It's like a weird cult thing.
Yeah. There's a lot of weird cult things in this world. If you really, really love something, there's a cult for it.
Join it.
Okay,
Who cares?
you guys are not.
Okay,
like,
yeah, we're not cult advocates.
yeah.
Anyway,
Do you think Friends fans have a cult?
I think Friends fans are a cult.
So true. So true.
It's the cult of sitcom lovers.
Yeah. Ugh. Laugh tracks? My favorite. I love them.
Yo, maybe we can just talk about sitcoms next week.
We should, because I have a lot of stuff to talk about how much I hate laugh tracks.
But you gotta save it. You know why? Because that's all the time we have for this week.
Oh, no!
I'd like to give a special thanks to Hannah for joining us
Yeah,
this week.
Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, anytime maybe.
We
We'll schedule it out. We're trying out new things where we bring on special guests, get different opinions and stuff, and all of our guests are gonna have some sort of specialty.
Yeah.
So
Hannah's specialty? What is it, Hannah?
knowing elementary stuff.
All right. I can't do that.
All right. Well, if you liked our podcast this week, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button if you'd like to see more of our content. If you'd like to say it's a good thing, want to see more of it. Go ahead and comment down below if you have any field trips that you remember as a child that really stuck out to you, what you learned, and what we should talk about next week. Other than that, anybody else have anything to add?
No, I don't think so. Goodbye.
See you, everybody.
Goodbye.